Well, good morning, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It is the 3rd of August, day 139 remote. This past week, we did a call with our financial services clients where we always do a recap of what happened. Q2 is in the history books for the big financial firms, so you'll be hearing a lot about the earnings reports in the weeks and month ahead. So this is just a recap of Q2, May through July 2020, trends versus a year ago on a world scale. U.S. a bit warmer than last year, 6th warmest in 35 years, 15% drier than last year, and driest in 4 years. So that's a pretty good trend. Typically, warmer, drier weather is good for overall retail sales, certainly for the home centers and beverages and food and picnicking and garden categories. So again, pretty good here in the States. Europe was a bit cooler than last year, but a coolest in 6 years, and 3% wetter, making it 11th wettest in 35 years. So a bit of a downward trend maybe in Europe. So you might want to check out your portfolio and see how your U.S. versus European-based stocks are doing. This was an outlook not only showing what happened here Q2, up and down warm periods and some cooler periods. This is year-over-year trends on a U.S. national scale. And it shows our Q3, Q4 outlook, where we do believe it's going to be an extremely warm fall, warm, dry fall with epic hurricanes is kind of along the coast. So a lot of things to be concerned about here for Q3 and a part of Q4, not getting really cold until probably toward Christmas time. So again, we quantify this for our big customers. So the fall, for example, here in the Chicago area, we'd say it's 9.5 degrees warmer than last year, warmest in 4 years. Last year they had snow, and this year 0 is our expectation. So if we quantify that against our Power 1 degree technology, we see a big downward decline in flu medicines, hot beverages down 19% year over year. Fleece jackets, boots down almost 30%. Coats down 48%. Fire logs are typically a big surge around Thanksgiving. We have that down about 76%. So the winners are probably going to be the home centers, discounters, garden centers. You and I are still probably going to be thinking beach and lake here as we go into the fall season. The good news is down under, as again we talked about this last week, was that Australia's flu season's non-existent. It's the least active flu season in decades, and part of that is obviously just due to the COVID measures, wearing masks and social distancing. But in any event, the red line is the Australian flu season, which is usually a bellwether of our flu season ahead. So this is good news. Their season's non-existent. They've had some pretty epic seasons the past couple of years, just like us. The past 2 years have been very active in the U.S. So this is a good news scenario here, potentially, for the U.S. We also talked about our hurricane outlook. Obviously, got another system here to worry about here today, making landfall. But it's obviously a record fast start here with, we already have 9 named systems. Isaias is number 9. So we haven't seen anything like this in 169 years of records. The last thing close to this was 2005, obviously, with Katrina, when we had 7 named systems at this point in the season. So very active start. Today we're obviously worrying about Isaias. It looks like it's going to make landfall in and around the Myrtle Beach, Wilmington areas. Hurricane Center just recently said it's probably going to make landfall as a weak Category 1 hurricane. The bad news is this track is actually, you can see the chart left here, is actually inland. So putting a lot of the coastal areas in that right front quadrant of the storm. We talk about this a lot, that if you're on the left side of the storm, again, typically when hurricanes come up the East Coast, we're usually on that left side. That's the weak side. So you're just exponentially weaker system than you would be if you're just in the right front quadrant. So unfortunately, this puts the Outer Banks, Ocean City, Maryland, New Jersey, Long Island in that right front quadrant, even as a tropical storm. So this can be still pretty significant. So we do think there's going to be some storm surge and coastal beach erosion. This is actually a cool site. The CIRA group, love these folks, Coastal Emergency Risk Management Assessment Group, showing around Myrtle Beach as the system makes landfall here. Looking at tidal surge here. Now this is just the water lifting up, so this is not waves, lifting up 6-7 feet. And then on top of that is the map right, is the waves. So the water is just the surge. That's a 6 feet higher water level. And then waves are on top of that. And these waves look like they're going to be in the 10-foot plus range. So that's a 15, 16-foot wall of water in and around these Wilmington beaches. They're kind of used to it, but again, that's a pretty significant storm surge with waves. If we look at this week for 3 through 9 August, first full week of August here, cool in the middle, warm on the East Coast, warm in the Rockies, but overall nationally 1.4 degrees cooler than last year. They always say what goes up, something comes down, and so as Isaias is coming up the East Coast, it's bringing down a little bit of cold air in the central U.S. So coolest in 3 years. Rainfall similar to last year, but still 12th wettest in 35 years and above average. Again, especially along that east coast where we're easily going to see 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain in a swath from Charleston all the way up into New Jersey and parts of New York. Looking at next week, middle August, the MJO cycle is going to go into a little bit of a lull here. So we're going to get a lull in tropical activity, but then get ready for the latter half of August. We think the Japanese model and the MJO cycle, all these things go back into a very active phase. So late August, mid to late August looks to be pretty epic as we get into that, and then going into September timeframe as well. So hurricane activity is going to be, we think, pretty catastrophic here ultimately when all is said and done. Overall, next week, about 1.7 degrees warmer, 5th warmest in 35 years, wettest in 3 years. Again, we'll have to watch the East Coast as we go into latter half of August. Looking at the 2-week world trends here, 3 through 16. Again, cold in the central U.S., below normal. Europe's actually still pretty cool as well. They've not had a really hot summer this year. So, again, been on the cool side across Europe. Marketing always says, don't show the family photos, but hey, it's vacation time, so we're going to show the family photos. My little one, in fact, fan base says, show the family photos. So for the fans here today, the little one, she's in the Disney princess phases, so she's been all the characters here lately: Belle, Ariel, Moana, Snow White. So here she's Belle, I believe. I have to brush up on my Disney characters here. One of our favorite spots to go here when you can't go very far is just travel down to Ocean City, Maryland. Lord willing, these folks don't get hit too hard by Isaias, because Isaias will go very near this area. And again, unfortunately, there will be a storm surge and 4, 5, 6 inches plus of rainfall. So certainly some flooding. This area floods pretty easily, so definitely some flooding in this area. Love this place. Again, it's they bring in import palm trees on the beach. So again, it's a pretty neat place. So again, Lord willing, they do not get hit too hard here this week with Isaias. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here this time next week.